You're in a dimension where history, language, and the very nature of reality is controlled by the whims of college professors and New York Times interns. You've just crossed over into the woke zone.
Hello everyone and welcome to This Week in Stupid for the 13th of June 2021. As usual, I would request that if you happen to like this episode, please share it around because the YouTube algorithm does not appreciate it very much because I don't work for a corporation. And as such, the YouTube algorithm doesn't really share my video as often as I would like. And I would appreciate if you give it a thumbs up, if you subscribe, and if you share it around. Anyway, I've been inundated on the Romanian media as well as the foreign press with the sensational fact that Emmanuel Macron has got slapped. So, because it seems to be the most important thing of the month now, like I keep seeing the slap in rewind, in slow motion, right after the commercial break, the media tells me. I'm going to show it here, so let's watch the slap.
Quickly, take a look at this. How quickly, that's the slap.
Unfortunately, however, the slap didn't seem to be successful in revigorating Macron in the approval ratings. He does say that he blames the slap not on the individual doing the slap, but on ultra-violent people. You know, many years from now, maybe they will make a good historical Netflix adaptation. Maybe they can find a good person of color to play Macron. I think Idris Elba, if they can find him, if he's available. They should get Idris Elba to play the French president, Emmanuel Macron. And he can have the hero's journey. It's like people are ultra-violent and he has to master ultra-instinct. So he travels around the world and finds an old man called George W. Bush. He's living in an old village at Kami House. And he's going to teach him ultra-instinct. Because look, like George Bush has already mastered the technique of the gods. Like, look here. Right? Just look at it. Did you see that? It's like his body moved even before his mind could realize what's going on. Like, look here. Phew. Right? And you can say, well, that's a fluke. Like he was going to bend anyway. Like, no, look what happens with the other shoe. Vroom. He dodges the other one as well. Like this is ultra instinct. This is what Macron has to learn. Let's watch this at smaller speed and you can see the reaction. Like, look here. He doesn't even see it coming. Like his body just moves on its own. It's almost trained. Like he felt the chi. He felt the disturbance in the air, in the chakra, and he already moved. And after he learns ultra instinct, he can travel the earth somewhere and then he can find a different master that will give Macron another anime training arc where he can learn how to perfect ultra instinct. Like, look here, this is how you...
I love our chances, you know, it's been...
That right there is what Macron needs. And maybe we're going to get that movie arc. By the way, like, he called it ultra-violent people. Like a slap is ultra-violence. I wonder how you would call when Bolsonaro, the president of Brazil, got stabbed. Because if the slap is ultra-violence, then the stab being worse than the slap should have, like, other levels of comparison. Like, super God, super Saiyan, ultra-violence. How would you call that? I'm really curious. Because, like, we're running out of terms of comparisons.
He's a trans activist. He may not look scary, but you better always smile around him. Think happy thoughts. And never contradict anything he says, or he will cancel you. You will never return. This is the woke zone.
By the way, like someone sent me this chicken nugget shaped like an Angas character has sold at an auction for almost $100,000. Well, I knew that inflation is bad in America, but I didn't know it was this bad. Hey, America, if you're having inflation, why not give me a couple of super chats? I mean, don't be greedy. You know, it's like you got a lot of money, don't you? Do you see how sneaky I am fishing for those super? Do you see? Hire me and put me in your sales department. I promise you we're going to make great business together. And I also promise you I won't embarrass you the same way that the PR person for the British Army just managed to get the entire internet to facepalm. Like, are you ready for this? Like, are you ready? You're not ready for it. You need to sit down. Like, trust me, if you're jogging, if you're doing anything else, because your sides are going to be in orbit. Okay, this is a trigger warning for funniness. I'm warning you that you're going to laugh a lot because of this. So, the British Army decided to post a very interesting picture on Twitter in order to give tribute to one of the few surviving D-Day veterans at a special event held in Cornwall. Now, you might say, well, what is so funny about that, V? Like, why are you laughing about that? Well, look at the picture. Just take it all in. Take it all in. Just take it in. Take it in. Okay. Moving on. Man, I hope no one is going to tell him. Anyway, I can't get a single episode of This Week is Stupid where I don't talk about COVID in one way or another. It's getting tiresome. But eventually, like one of these days, there's going to be an episode where I don't get to talk about it. So the entire news was covered by Dr. Fauci. And to give you a summary of what went on, it would be like the FOIA attack on my emails have left me scarred and deformed. I mean, here we're going to have him address it in an interview.
It's very dangerous, Chuck, because a lot of what you're seeing as attacks on me, quite frankly, are attacks on science.
I am the science. Man, I really love that energy. I swear to God, if I have a kid, I'm going to buy him a Dr. Fauci action figure. You need to be like this man. Like, this is what it means to have power. This is what it means to reach the peak of human existence. To look down upon the masses and say, I am the science. I mean, my God, this is just so wonderful. You know what? I'm going to do the same now. It's like, I am the YouTube. You see, if you criticize This Week is Stupid, you are criticizing YouTube. So, if you criticize V, you are criticizing comedy. And speaking about science, this was published recently in PubMed, a online database for medical journals, on having whiteness by Donald Moss. Dramatic reading. Whiteness is a condition one first acquires and then one has a malignant, parasitic-like condition to which white people have a particular susceptibility. The condition is foundational, generating characteristics, ways of being in one's body, in one's mind, and in one's world. Parasitic whiteness renders its host appetites voracious, insatiable, and perverse. These deformed appetites particularly target non-white peoples. Once established, these appetites are nearly impossible to eliminate. Effective treatment consists of a combination of psychic and social historical interventions. Such interventions can reasonably aim to reshape whiteness's infiltrated appetites, to reduce their intensity, redistribute their aims, and occasionally turn those aims towards the work of reparations. When remembered and represented, the ravages wreaked by the chronic contagion can function either as warning, never again, or as temptation, great again. Memorialization alone, therefore, is no guarantee against regression. There is not yet a permanent cure. By the way, do you guys remember when we were kids and every time there was a tragedy, like a shooting or something like that, you would watch Fox News and they always knew why it happened? It's because of video games. Like those video games perversing the minds of children. Well, it's kind of, I get the same energy when I read that a New York City shrink tells Yale audience that she fantasizes about shooting white people in the head, it's really the same vibe. Maybe she reads too much PubMed. Maybe she reads a little bit too much of Donald Moss. I would actually tell you what she fantasizes about, but I don't want to push the envelope with YouTube. Although you can find the article in the New York Post and you can read through all of the very interesting mental imagery that she's got. I have to say, like, the only difference that I get the vibe is that between that shrink and a crazy person is just a piece of paper from an institution which certifies that she's a shrink.
To reassure our viewers who are kind of on the fence about eating bugs, who are bug curious, as we say in the bug community, and I'm going to eat it. There's a cicada right on the top.
Yeah, I mean, I think you dip.
Honestly, it's
Delicious, he said. Delicious. I'm sorry, I didn't get the full recording, right? I just get what you guys are sending me on the Twitter DMs, and sometimes it's incomplete. So I gotta complete it for you. What else do we have? Oh, yes. Apparently, Kamala Harris is probably the first person of color to visit Guatemala. Did you know that? Oh, she went there. It was awesome. But before we go into her visit, she gave cookies to journalists in Air Force 2. The internet is mad about it. You know, like they constantly talk about it. Like, did you know she gave cookies? It's like, wait, who cares she gave cookies? It's like, yeah, she gave cookies in her liking. Like, what do you mean in her liking? The cookies look like her. Get the fuck out. Like, I want to see this. I need to see this. Props to the baker. I mean, that is good art. That is a good art piece.
Just quickly put a button.
Okay.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
At some point, you know, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making. I'm not just.
The point that the gentleman is making, Kamala, is that you should come to Europe. It's a beautiful place. Well, Joe Biden recently said that he doesn't have time to speak with the leaders of Eastern Europe. Why don't you come over here? It's really good. Really nice tourism here in Romania. Come over here. By the way, that whole thing, it's like, I've been to the border. I've been to the border. You haven't been to the border. You know what that reminds me of?
I could break these cuffs.
You can't break those cuffs.
Stop motorist, I'm with the sergeant, we'll be state 5 in a couple of seconds. Right, I've got to go to quite a serious incident. The reason I stopped you is when you came out of the Barnes, with no offence to you, but you're a black male, okay? I'm not going to lie to you.
So it's racist when you stop me.
I'm not saying that at all.
Wouldn't that be the Young Turks' job to, like, analyze the situation? Like, come on, police officer, like, you're taking the Young Turks' bread off the table. Like, what are they going to do now for the whole segment? What are they going to speculate if you just hand them over the win like that? Make them work for it. Make them have to work for it.
Black entrepreneurs are just as capable of succeeding given the chance as white entrepreneurs are. But they don't have lawyers, they don't have accountants, but they have.
Nani? Now, I'm no expert in American politics, but let me just Google something. Who was Barack Obama's vice president? Okay, so I got this one right. Joe Biden was Barack Obama's vice president. Let's look for something else now. Let's look at Barack Obama. What was he before he was president? What was he? Oh, he was a lawyer? He was a lawyer.
Black entrepreneurs are just as capable of succeeding given the chance as white entrepreneurs are. But they don't have lawyers, they don't have accountants. But they have.
I think he might be talking about the article from Bloomberg, which is saying that the feds wake up to race in order to help the black entrepreneurs. Now, if you look at the Fed, at least the people in this picture, Not many black people, I would say. Like not many. You'd think that the Fed should start looking inwards first. Like they should hire more diversity here. But okay, let's see how they're going to fix the issue. So, in the article, in practical terms, the change means that the Fed might now let the economy revive a little before it starts tightening credit. The Fed's target for inflation is 2%, and it can be viewed a little more loosely. Overall unemployment, this new thinking goes, can be allowed to fall further in order to give minorities a better chance to find good jobs. In other words, this is how you get equality in practice. Like equality in theory is when you lift everyone up and you make everyone wealthy. Equality in practice is when you suppress everyone down and you make everyone equally poor. But speaking of inflation, look at this. An artist sells invisible sculpture for over $18,000. Again, I mentioned, like, I knew inflation is bad, but yeah, I don't know what the Fed is doing, but I definitely hope they're going to do something soon. Like, they need to fix this. Look how much nothing costs in America. Like, absolutely nothing costs $18,000. Apparently, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well, it seems that the beholder cast it disintegrate. Bottom tish, I guess you didn't expect that one coming. Anyway, I'm going to tell you something that you guys are going to have to call the fact checkers on me on this, because I'm going to tell you something that you won't believe. Seriously, it's very, very difficult to grasp that this is reality, but Twitter is now advocating for free speech. Yes, like Twitter, the company, is saying that an access to a free and open internet is an essential human right. Would you believe this? Okay, like Twitter saying that people should have free speech. That's bewildering. So, what happened? Well, apparently Twitter banned the Nigerian president. So Nigeria then banned Twitter, and now Twitter is crying. They're like, to me it looks like self-defense. Like I'm against violence, but people have a right to defend themselves. Like if you go and you start punching someone, that person can shove you away, and then if you are crying, I'm not going to be like, well, I condemn violence. No, it's like, why did you do that? So yes, we are deeply concerned by the blocking of Twitter in Nigeria. Access to the free and open internet is an essential human right in modern society. We will work to restore access for all of those in Nigeria who rely on Twitter to communicate and connect with the open world. Hashtag keep it on. Where's the same energy when they ban politicians from all around the world, including Nigeria, by the way? But what's interesting about this is that they don't complain when China banned Twitter. Did you notice that? I mean, China also bans Twitter, and we don't hear anything about it, just crickets. But if you want to know what really is hilarious, is that just like if you bully Huawei, it's not Huawei you're going to have to deal with. It's CCP, it's the Communist Party of China that's going to get upset if you bully Huawei. And apparently, if you bully Twitter, it gets upset. Twitter ban. Why isn't they calling to China to reverse Twitter ban? China is too strong, isn't it? China too powerful. we can't tell China what to do, but we can tell Nigeria. Now that is progressive, isn't it? That is very, very progressive. Oof. Maybe you know what Nigeria should do? They should get lawyers. They should listen to Joe Biden and get lawyers. That's what they should do. And by the way, like, this isn't the only scandal that Twitter is caught up in right now. Apparently, Twitter has also pissed off India. But I gotta say, I do like this whole energy that Twitter is doing. I like to call it big dick energy, where they can pretend that they're like the telephone company, that like, you can speak freely, right? But they can ban whomever they want. They can promote whomever they want. If you look at the trendings page, they can make something trend or they can stop something from trending. It's very artificial. Like they can just create conversations. They can stop conversations from happening. But at the same time, if you ban them, you're against the open internet. you're against the free internet. They are the internet. It's like Jack Dorsey, I am the internet. Man, like this is the mindset that I want my kids to grow up with. It's like you need to look at a human concept, whether it is science, whether it is the internet, and then become that concept. So when people criticize you, it's like, you're criticizing the internet. How dare you? That's what I get. Like that's how strong people are. If you want to become a strong person, that's the mindset you need. By the way, please stop asking. No, seriously, just stop asking. Like, I keep getting people from Britain asking me to cover some British news. Britain is stuck in a temporal loop. Like, they're in Groundhog Day. They still are doing the 2 weeks to flatten the curve stuff. I'm not kidding. Like, look, Boris to delay June 21 reopening until July 19. Like, I need them to exit Groundhog Day, like, fall in love or something. Like, do what needs to be done. Okay, complete the quest. And then rejoin the rest of the world, where you got out the two weeks to flatten the curve thing. By the way, like, this would be a good TV show, wouldn't it? It's like you go through the 2 weeks to flatten and then you start, like, you awake at the 14th day, you awake back at day 1, and you just have to live that ever again and again and again like that. That would be a good show, huh? Who would play Boris Johnson? What type of actor would be good enough to play Boris Johnson? Idris Elba. That would be a good Netflix adaptation, wouldn't it? Right. So, since everyone in Britain is staying at home, staying safe, the only news that I can get you is from what politicians are posting on Twitter. Hopefully, Twitter isn't banned in the UK, huh? Maybe they can ban Boris Johnson. And then we're going to see what's happening. Come on, Twitter, do some drama, do something. Okay, so we got this interesting lady, which, to be honest, like, she has a point. This map has been hidden from you all your life. Like, this is some heavy information. I never heard about it. This is how they carved up Africa. And apparently, the fact that Europe has colonized Africa in the past was some hidden knowledge. It was some esoteric lore that only British MPs had access to. Now, the interesting part about it is that some people, some bigots on Twitter, are saying that why aren't you talking about the fact that China is doing this today? Like, they're buying land, they're buying most of the arable land, and there might be famines. It's just like, look. That's not the point, all right? The other people are saying that, well, this wasn't hidden knowledge. Like, we knew. And no, it was hidden. Do you know where it was hidden? In the textbooks. Like, at schools. You have it in the textbooks. And who reads textbooks? Who reads textbooks? You know, my grandmother used to have a saying that the best place to hide money in the house is in the Bible, because no one is going to open the Bible. It's really the same with kids today. Like, who's going to open a textbook? So you can hide this information in the no one will know. So no, like, Claudia Webb is definitely right. I think this information needs to be shared in places where kids go to. On Discord, maybe, on Twitter, on social media. That's the place where kids grow up nowadays. Definitely not at school in textbooks, right? Because it's like still flattening the curve. They're still staying home. So, right. Hopefully you had fun. Hopefully I managed to amuse you, because this is the purpose of the show, to do a little bit of a comedy. I personally am not very happy today. You probably noticed. Couldn't be my sarcastic self, but I did the best with what I've got. Yeah, I got a wedding coming up, and boy, oh boy, is it a hassle. Is it a hassle? Like, you guys don't want to know. And think about it, that I'm actually doing like the minimalistic version. Like, no dancing, no party, no, not just like the bare minimum, like a restaurant, get 10 people, tell them to eat, and then tell them to go home. Like, that's what I'm trying to, it's still a hassle. My God, picking the wedding dress, for example, that is like a quest in Final Fantasy. You get different appreciation for that quest until after you get married. But anyway, right, so I don't want to bore you with the details. Unless you want to join my live stream. Yeah, I'm going to be live streaming after this, so if you guys want to check it out, there's a link into the description to my live stream channel. If you like this, please thumb it up. Don't forget to share it around on social media. Helps me get some new subscribers. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.